Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to an exciting, innovating, and amazing Propagandacast with me, your host Imperial Dane, the one, the only Master Propaganda Hero of Psych Defender of the Fatherland, off here to a 1v1 on Mirassol Road. In the north, it is Mirassol, fighting for the Wehrmacht, Germany, Deutschland. Here with mobile defense, with command tanks, counterattack tactics, Panzer Tactician, the mobile observation post, and the Puma armored car there, forming up with the 1st Panzer Division in the south, that is Acehiro, fighting here for the Red Army, the Soviet Union, Comrade Stalin, and the 3rd Guards Mechanized Corps here with Guard Motor, featuring course T-3035s, heavy mortars, Guards Rifle Infantry, vehicle repair training, and marked vehicle, a grenadier before 2-star versus double conscripts. And as always, a big hearty thanks to my paid supporters. Without them and their support, the Propagandacast would not be possible, so thanks to all of those. Others can follow in the heroic example pledge on Patreon, or they can donate via PayPal. Links are in the video description, and if you're considering pre-ordering coming this fee, you can do so with the link in the comments. Use the code CoH2 as it is written there, and I get a small part of the sale. I'll let you know, comment, like, share, subscribe, press the bell button. So, gonna need 74-2 there, Parties heading westwards, gonna need heading eastwards, machine gun also further westwards. Interesting, I'm here on Mirassol. Definitely looking to, I think, pull a fast one on his opponent by committing more to the northern wing, and I guess push for the fuel point there. That's a bold capping order there from Mirassol. He is in some respects certainly a bold play. He's also one of the few to, I think, very consistent make use of mobile defense. Like, most players tend not to think much about it. Mirassol is a big fan of it, in particular because of the counterattack tactics, which is actually a really powerful ability for low cost. Like, it just allows you to grab, like, a lot of points fast for, like, 35 munitions for an entire minute. That can be really potent. Second thing got there for Mirassol. Third conscript there for Acehiro. We got then the 3 conscript engineer build. Pretty standard stuff. Up north, machine gun in there. Pioneer's got the point here. Conscript at the center. And these are busy in the east. More gunners bring up here. Looks like we could see the first fight in the center. There you go. Pioneers flanking the conscript at the center victory point. And then they're going to attack from the other side. At the same time, the machine's kind of left out to dry there on the left side here. So I don't know what Mirassol is planning here, honestly. But if he had planned something, I suspect it could have become slightly pear-shaped already. Either way, the conscripts are now being surrounded from all sides here. Mirassol goes for the killer machine, also pulling back from the west side here. 3rd Grenadiers go on the way. They're routed, overwhelmed with only 1 Grenadier called lost here. Then again, the conscripts only suffer 1 loss as well there. Another kill here on Acehiro's conscripts. His front fix Pioneers there, about to engage on that conscript machine, moving straight here, further down as well there. Rather hectic, and definitely not the usual kind of movements I'd expect here on Milroy machine to get the conscripts here, and rippling into them. Comes down to 3 men here. Conscripts pressed there. We got the 3rd Grenadiers going eastwards here, ripping through the Soviet infantry with all speed and alacrity. There we go. Conscripts routed. Grenadiers need to be careful. Conscripts pressed here. Pioneers going for the western fuel point here. And no tech yet here. Could be a 4th Grenadier squad there for Mirassol. Machine moving toward the west side here. Conscripts out there for Acehiro. Conscripts are pressed. And there you go. We do get the counterattack tactics. Again, note just how swiftly the point is suddenly being rendered neutral here. He's rushing in the engineers, but they're rushing straight into the MD-32, so they will have to fall back quickly, though we do have a counterattack in the south. East had a bit of skirmish between Mirassol and Acehiro, as the engineers are overwhelmed. Machine needs to retreat, Pioneers first off, but he was still able to run the point neutral, and that way slowing down Acehiro's fuel economy a bit there. Now in the south here, points are just rapidly being gobbled up there by Mirassol, so he is, I think, quickly displaying here why he is such a big fan on that commander. We got tech there on the way though for Mirassol. Acehiro here with medic stun. Watching as most of the map is rapidly falling to the Germans, however, briefly. Can need to reposition a bit here, but there you go. Caught as Acehiro's conscript charging in his front of it, marching forwards for the glory of socialism. Can need to gate the conscript here, fighting with the most guns here at the Karnat TK wielding Grenadiers. And we got the light tech almost done there for Mirassol. Guessing into 2-2 here, pretty standard stuff. The south here, Grenadiers been treating here. We'll have to see how much actually goes of the rest of the commander though. Moving westwards with the engineers there, we got the machine gun being hauled towards the center, and like to mechanized company for Mirassol, again, very much expected, anticipated. Moving up towards the center here, another fierce fight for that center victory point here. That tends to draw in a lot of players, and so tends to be heavily fought. Oh, and there go, constant there being absolutely shredded here. There's just a mountain, well, not quite a mountain, a molehill of dead Russian conscripts. 2-2 on the way there for Mirassol. Grenadiers reinforcing. Sonderkraftsfahrzeug 222. Nothing further happening in the Acehiro's base as yet. Northern victory point falling into the Red Army engineers under Acehiro's command machine gun. They're popping into the small shed here, the cottage, the cabin. It's more suited though for defending against like the northeastern player than it is for the southern player, because there's a significant more easily exploited gap here from the southern player than it is in the north, I think. But still, you know, if they are going to march straight up here, it's still pretty good, but there's certainly a gap here that I think could be more easily exploited that way. Anyways, enough about that gap. Pioneers and engineers here, controls being fired a bit here in the south here. The white front is open here. We could see there Acehiro making a push. We've got flame for engineers up here. Armored car out there for Mirassol and the German army. Still not trying to take for Acehiro. Machine gun, oh, right as it pops out. Conscripts quickly hiding out behind some shrubbery where the MG42 cannot see them. They know they're there, but they can't quite see them specifically, and so can't shoot them. Armor covers the conscripts here. Autocannon and coaxial machine gun there ripping through the front of it, leaving Dimitri quite dead. Guards ramping falling up for Acehiro, calling in something a bit more elite, veteran to match the Germans head on, and we will see the double DP-27 light machine guns. The voice lines called it incorrectly the DP-28, but it was actually the DP-27. Invented by Dekhterev, who actually invented a surprisingly large amount of the Soviet arsenal, like the predecessor of the PPD-41, the PPD-40, Dekhterev, the Dishka, the Dekhterev. So, yeah, go figure. You just go for the eastern point there, also the tank machine gun, you know, the DT-29, Dekhterev. Very prolific guy. Quite impressive when you think about it. MG4 holding up here. Armored car push from the east with the eastern fuel point. Another machine here for Mirassol, so not a bad pick here versus the Soviets. Engineers caught here, quickly forced off, but not before they cut off their Mirassol's fuel supply here. Machine gun they're falling back into the shed here. Guards being on the west side here, their DP light machine guns and their anti-tank rifles looking on these of the MD-42. Machine gun there. Thankfully here does now Molotov ready in the hands of the conscripts, but again, the gap, in this case, it's a door. And of course you can't fire through a door, I guess. That's rude or something. Didn't your mother teach you never to put a machine gun against a door? Nein, Jürgen. Because my mother didn't know about machine Gewehren. There you go, counterattack taxi in for Mirassol. MB4 to the conscripts. There you go again, rapidly grabbing that big 2-point here. So Pop Company at face here could call in another guard squad to go for the heavy mortar. More likely, I suppose, at this point to go for field gun or a Maxim here versus Mirassol. Gunnies push back. North Gunnies at the watch as well. Armored covers the conscripts. Pioneers bring up here versus conscripts in the center. Machine gun, they're backing them up. And we got a fourth Gunnies go for Mirassol on top of the two MG42s, going for a pretty feisty build there. Aims for long-range domination versus the Marxist foe. In the center, Acehiro lining up for assault. There you go. With the center front collapsing here, Acehiro's going to exploit that to go straight for the car point. Thumbs up to that. Of course, as the German player, I imagine Mirassol is not too keen on that particular development. Unsurprisingly. Armor comes to the knees, ripping through the knees there with some well-placed coaxial auto-cannon fire there. Bunker ready there. Machine gun ready as well. Guards will pump to the building here. That's going to force the 2-2 out, though, again. They actually can't shoot out the door. In this case, they can just pop out the door, though. This does allow the 2-2 push them around there. Gunnies moving in from the north. Back here, we got the tank chain mountain that's done for Acehiro. That will likely result in T-70, but he could also go for the anti-aircraft tower tank to try and push for a faster bit of medium armor. No, he does go for the T-70 light tank. They're pushing in from the north. We got control up the center. We got tech for Mirassol. Feeling pretty happy about the current circumstances. He moves ahead for Deutschland. Give the T-70 a bit more room to do what it wants to do, but at the same time, he does have that anti-tank and production bulletin, so he could rush into that Pack 40 fast anyways. I suppose he could try and hold out for a Puma, though I suspect he won't do that, but he could. I'm using Southwards here. North fighting for the fuel point, they're happening again, and Acehiro once more forced to commit to counterattack here. Can't have the Germans getting that fuel. Gunniers down to 2 men, forced retreat in the south here. We got engineers with the Grenadier here being caught in a bit of a crossfire here. The engineers may have to consider their continued existence in that particular spot before they get wiped out. He's rolling out here for Acehiro. Quick with a 45mm gun there, going gaining on these, quickly splashing up one poor bastard there. Another shot fired there. Acehiro starting here with the Mirassol's current, very aggressive map control here. Up north here, concentrating in there with some sandbags at the red. We got 2 machine gun teams there. And he's in the center. Tech done. Gonna go for that Pack 49, I imagine. Or again, he could, I suppose, try and hold up for a Puma, but it seems unlike. There you go. Pack 40 for Mirassol. And the 1st Panzer Division. Thiessen roaming in here. Gets a kill there on the machine gunner, killing Ulrich. Was definitely not ready to get hit by a 45mm round. Anything but. The Southie Guardsman falling back here. Lining up for another push here. Perhaps he's going to try and go for that Thiessen with the Pantherfaust. There we go. And damaging the engine of the Thiessen light tank. An actual Thiessen that was hit by Pantherfaust probably would have been a much messier assault. Just running to the MB42 coming up here as well. And occupying the shed. MB42, they could try and pop into piercing rounds now, but probably won't. Sadly, the Incendiary piercing rounds is a very overlooked ability amongst the players, but it's... Oh, I spoke too soon, he did pop it. 2 thumbs up. And there you go, contra yourself in the Rathi as Konstantin and Boris there absolutely shattered in a matter of seconds. The heavy mortar, though, is going to be a bit of a headache here for Acehiro in return with its 120mm rounds. And he's ready. Still no support core yet, though, of course, I imagine with the priority being in the Pack 40, he obviously is not going to build that right away as soon as he can. So there you go. Panzer Abwehrkanone 40 für Mirassol. South here we got the MD42 grenades with the conscripts here. Guardsman attacking as well. Machine gun unsurprisingly sent packing as the flank was wide open. Decently sniping away. They got 4 kills. Pack wrecking sandbags. In the south here, Acehiro's assault continues fairly well. No real things to really stop them, except just Acehiro not going in deep. Machine gun in the shed. Once more. Heavy mortar though at it. Could actually shatter that shed if Mirassol is not careful, or just unlucky. Guardsman flanking in here on the shed. There we go. Quick grenade there for the window. The RGD-33. Fragmentation grenade. Almost like the entire machine gun crew here. Nearly escapes here. Oh, through the front door, though. But gets away nonetheless. Close call there, though, for Mirassol's machine gun crew. Got Rathgate on comes to the conscript, wiping out the entire team there. That'd been a bit of a blow there to Acehiro. Guard moving up for the Pack 40 here. If Acehiro can remove that Pack 40, that's certainly going to hurt Mirassol, and certainly is a bit risky there, but Mirassol to leave the Pack 40 as unintended like that. In the center, going to these MD4 to the conscript. Thiessen turning in here to Mirassol's beleaguered infantry. Back at base, still nothing further happening there. No support McCall yet from Mirassol. Machining about popping the internal piercing rounds. Thumbs up to that, though. With the T-70 there on the flank, it does feel a bit risky. And I think Mirassol gets the message once the heavy mortar bombs start dropping. South here, fresh sandbags from Acehiro as we prepare perhaps for his next step on the journey, which will be the southern fuel point. Support there for Mirassol, thumbs up, and I imagine we're looking at a Panther 4. Though he could arguably get away with a command tank rush here, but I think with some benefits here versus Acehiro. Bit more durability, good anti-infantry performance, smoke screens, and the ability to mark vehicles. It really does a lot, honestly. It does a lot. Send a machining gewehr there, flanked with a guardsman. South here, conscripts holding the line for now, but the numbers are dropping swiftly, and Acehiro does have to question himself if this is really worth risking an entire conscript squad on. And I think he comes to the conclusion, no, it wasn't. Acehiro's has been making great progress against Mirassol. Mirassol's defenses have been a bit more scattered, less effective. Thiessen, I think, has been a big asset in this, though, of course. The hay mortar probably also adds some psychological pressure to Mirassol, that at least cause them to maybe fall back a bit faster than the others would. Or maybe just doesn't care, I don't know. Ultimately, I can't quite read his mind. Yusuke caught laying down mines. There go caught, but going down to one man here who heroically lays down the mine, but I think realizes there are better things to do in life before his life ends, and then it does end. So Paul McCall there can again go for that Panther Force soon, or a command tank. You could also go for the Austrian Flak Panzer here. I'm a car catching engineers here, but in most cases I would recommend he's going for command tank on Osman if you are going to go for an Osman, and can of course go for the command tank. Obviously with playing without command tanks you need to just go for the Ostwind. But anyways, T-Sin keeps bombarding away. He's got 6 kills, Veterancy 2 narrowly there. Mirassol, they're struggling a bit more. Map control becoming tougher for him. I think part of it's just the way he's attacking. It's not wildly efficient in some senses here. It certainly doesn't help that Acehiro is just starting to fortify more and more, which makes it harder for Mirassol's 4-man Grenadier Squad to like make swift and easy progress. He's very close to that Panther 4. Boy, command tank again though. Does he actually go for the command tank? That's tougher to say there. I know a lot of players unfortunately don't bother with command tanks, but they really should try investing into them. Counters routed here. North East Machine Gun us the T-Sin light tank here, striking face here on the Red Army. Firing its mighty 45mm gun into the MD-42 crew here. Exposed as they are, they have to retreat, and there go Acehiro rushing out the T-34s from 6, at which point... Oh, he didn't go for it. He was about to go for the T-35. Panther 4 on the way for Mirassol. Obviously a solid pick, though there's the T-35. It does fall a bit short, but that does require that Mirassol expects it right away. Who cares, I guess. I mean, he certainly does have the clues. There's a guard squad out in the field. There's a mortar. I mean, there's not really any other commander that has those. I mean, T-35 should be seen as kind of a natural follow-up. There you go, T-35 there for Acehiro and the Red Army. Grenadiers are mounted in the center here. 2 squads, and again, counter-attack tactics. The fervor of the fatherland bursts through his grenadiers, allowing them to seize points faster by, I don't know, staring at them a bit harder. I don't know, they just become better at pulling up that flag. Remember, Jürgen? Just like you learned in Baden-Baden. Both hands on the rope and then you pull. Nein, not like that, the other way. Yeah, good. This is the Grenadiers. See, we got an info to there on the small hill there. Forced away, and of course indicates that the machine gun has been lost to Acehiro, of course. Pack 4 up in the T-70 could try and sneak up with the gunners on the Panther fast, but does not. Panther 4 that has arrived here for Mirassol in the German army. T-35 that has arrived for Acehiro and the Red Army. Southern point sees the gunners could mount up the fuel of the next point here, but I guess the fervor's worn out and they've forgotten how to pull those flags faster. American Panther 4 is the guardsman. South T-35 strikes. Grenadiers are exposed to the might of the T-35 and its, well, 85mm gun, hence the 85 in its name. Fact. Its gun was actually based off a Soviet anti-aircraft gun. Similar to how the Tiger was based off the Flak 36. So, fun fact there as well. It's been pushed back in with the T-35. Towards the end of the war, I believe they actually also made an anti-tank gun with the same gun. I think it's called the BD-44. Anyways, another Panther 5 for Mirassol versus the T-35. You kind of want to consider maybe investing into Stug 3Gs. I typically find them to be much better tools as the T-35. You want some more firepower to whittle through all of that health. And the Panther 4 just typically tends to struggle a bit there versus, again, the fairly durable T-35. Center there, we got the Gunners dug in with the Panther 4. Second Panther 4 halfway done. I mean, for now, though, with just a T-35, 2 Panther 4s backed up by Pack 40, will actually be quite a formidable force for the T-35 to deal with. And I'm surprised we haven't seen any field guns yet for Acehiro, but I suppose he has been bleeding a bit harder than I've noticed, and that does, of course, then make going for a field gun a bit more tough than the top of the tank. T-35 shoots, misses the Panther 4, does not, lands a good shot there through the T-35's armor. So there we got T-70 there being hammered with the Pack 40, the Panzer up the Cannon Field. In the south here we got Panzer deployed, so that's the second ability use of the commander. Really haven't seen much else here so far. At this point, a Puma also seems unlikely, and we haven't seen any half-tracks, so I don't know. You could still go for the command tank, though. I still would recommend a command tank. North the armored car pioneer swap machine spot ready. Contra they're being slaughtered. Acehiro, they definitely, I think, seems a bit unsure how to tackle him. Mirassol currently with this advantage. And I think might be sort of hoping that Mirassol commits a mistake and then exploit, then push that under cover off. That does happen. Machine they being handed the Panther 4. Panther 4 moving forward hit. T-45 to find to that side here. Going in hard, he wants that T-70 debt, but it could come at a high cost. There you go, mark target. T-45 going in to exploit that. Decent shot. And the Panther 4 misses. Quite a bit of good fortune there for Acehiro's T-45. Heavy mortar with 2 kills. Not quite landing hits. We've got guys with the gun easy. Coming up north here. Block the burn armored car. Further fighting, but Acehiro and the 3rd Guards Mechanized Corps here is being steadily pushed back by the 1st Panzer Division as Mirassol just continues to make those pushes. And Acehiro is just continually struggling to sort of hold them. Did get a Pioneer Squad wipes. That's a small win there for Mirassol. Does buy a bit of time there, so that does slow down Mirassol's ability to repair his panzers. Aircraft shot out of the sky. Guards there being pummeled by the Panther 4s. T-45 striking in. There we go. Good hit on the Panther 4 there. Could maybe take it out here with another hit if he's lucky. This Panther Condition blocked. Hits the other Panther 4. And the T-45 has reached Veterans U1. Forcing healing here for Mirassol. Southern munitions once being ceased. Got the T-70 light tank near the ace level here for Acehiro and the Red Army. T-45 moving forwards. Seizing the center of the conscripts. Notice for those wondering what all these hands on the T-45 for. They are for tank riders. Specifically, so it's practice this on Nicky Doctrine, meaning, you know, infantry are expected to ride along in the tanks. So most tanks, after a certain point, would basically just have handles welded on to make this task easier. This was in part because the Russians simply didn't have enough trucks to, you know, motorize the troops, so they had to ride along in the tanks. Field gun the way they face it up. Field gun out here, ready to help deal with some of all of Mirassol's panzers, and I imagine we'll be seeing a second field gun, as typically most solo players would just go for 2 field guns because it is really, really good. Hack 40 gun is bringing in here up north. You've got the Panther 4 being fixed up. Humans the Grenadiers. Comes getting the nasty hit from the Panther 4. T-45 coming in here. Another mortar fire there. T-45 gets good in the Panther 4 with its 85mm gun. Pack 40 gets a good shot in the turn on the T-35. Acehiro is also not too far away from another T-35. Matches also at this point slowed down more significantly. Less speedy attacks. More deliberate, sort of ponderous movement here on both sides as they're trying to figure out the best angle of attack. Looking for weak spots, looking for mistakes. T-45 being pushed back though as Mirassol's packs get to work, they're on it. It's like I see the T-70 going for a flank in Mirassol's normal positions. They are quite exposed to that area there, so that does make sense. South side there, guards on the southern point. We also got a lot of conscripts mercy with the guards rather than infantry. In fact, there's only like 1 real guardsman left on the squad. The rest are conscripts. In flanking with the 2-2, we also got the gunners engaged from the other side. Looking pretty bad there for Acehiro's guards squad. Rive grenade certainly not making things easier. 3rd Panther 4 for Mirassol, going to turn into a possibly pretty tank-heavy battle here soon ahead. Meanwhile, Acehiro's not again far away from another T-45. Far up north here, T-70 being pushed back with the Panther 4 in the Mirassol's command. Got Fiend 62 versus 212. T-45 going for the Panther 4's flank, but there goes straight into the Pack 40 here. Another good shot there from the Pack 40, heading perhaps lined up with the target weak point. He could have maybe had a chance to get a few more extra shots and then destroy the T-45. Heavy mortar fire there, they'll compromise the position in the northern fields. And Mirassol with nothing else to do there, just pulls back. South side, there could be exploited by Mirassol. I mean, there's absolutely nothing here. And crucially, while he's been doing a lot of things well, he hasn't actually been mining a lot. So, like, that could be a good chance for, like, a good push here with all the Panther force for the south if Mirassol is fast. Just getting out the base here. Fully reinforced and all that. E7 could do some repairs, of course, can't repair itself now. Certainly the T-35 is also in dire need of some repairs. South E Panther force loading 40 guardsmen caught by the Panzerkampfwagen 4 and these two and I mean the guardsmen just aren't like in any like serious cover, so they're quite easy targets here for the Germans. That made it so with the grenadiers as well for the guardsmen. Got the machine gun here dug in to assist the centre. Don't note the way he's using the building here to flank the conscripts, though, of course, the heavy mortar doesn't care about that shed. So, what will Mirassol do next here as Acehiro? Will it be a Stug? Will it be a Puma? Will it be more Panther force? Will it be a command tank? He definitely needs to be careful like he doesn't wait too long here. It gives the Sods 2 Mark time to dig in. I mean, you know what happens? You give the Sods 2 Mark time to dig in, and you get Kursk. Troop reinforcing healing here. South here, Panther at the ready. Panther was the units up north. T-35 shoots, misses the Panther 4. Very lucky there for Mirassol. Well, up north, Panther moving about, and there goes second T-35 on the way for Acehiro and the Red Army. Contradicting around the centre, Panther Force advancing. Got the field moving in. Note he's only seeing 2 Panther Force, third Panther Force nowhere to be seen, and there's no real other further support here for Mirassol, so not the best of pushes really here for Mirassol. At least it didn't suffer too much damage or any casualties really, but I feel like that should have been part of a larger... Okay, he went in with a Panther from the south, a flanking machine gun. Bit of other elements moving up, but still not quite well coordinated for Mirassol there. Guess he struggled to maintain attack from, like, you know, up here and there. Certainly a bit of distance there. And so can be tricky to, like, you know, actually get such an assault going off there. Got the guards moving up here. Also lining up attack from the center. Looks like he's trying for, like, you know, a triple pointed attack in a sense. Panther Force attack from this north, infantry from the center, and then a Panther Force gun squad attack from the south here. Leaving the southern prong of the attack the weakest, but there you go, machine gun wiped out here. Comes from the center, push back here. This is working out reasonably well for Mirassol. Like, he's not suffering any wipes, getting some hits in here on Acehiro. But there's definitely some struggling here and keeping the attack going smoothly. And there you go. In this case, there's also some issues here. In this case, the Panther Force in the south is a bit exposed, but fortunately, again, Acehiro splits up his tanks, doesn't like swinging hard there. And also there's a pack 4 to support in the southern push as well, so clearly Mirassol was where the southern prong would be the most likely one to be counter-attacked, so he had the pack 40 there. Thumbs up to Mirassol. Max machine gun field and cleared out, but can he get his hands on them? Will he allow Acehiro to get them back? Because that would definitely be a mistake there. Like, I think at this point he should either, you know, destroy them as soon as possible, or he should grab them. I think giving Acehiro the slightest chance to get them back would be a bit of a blunder there on the operational level. Meanwhile, Mirassol bringing in a 4th Panther 4 here. That is going to be an understrength Panther 4 platoon for sure. Yeah, it's a lot of Panther 4s. Meanwhile, the others are being repaired up. One thing to note here, he has a lot of tanks, but he's only got 1 Pioneer squad. That is definitely an insufficient number to repair that many Panzers. In, like, any, you know, decent time. Definitely do think that's something Mirassol needs to invest some more manpower into. Typically, as a minimum, I recommend 2 Pioneers after a point just to keep your tanks, you know, decent repair. But honestly, with 4 Panther Force and an armored cart, 3 Pioneers might even have to be a consideration there. But for whatever case, like 1 Pioneer is just, you know, not enough here. That is definitely a bit of a mistake there by Mirassol. There we go. He's finally bringing more Pioneers. Finally. On the card falling back, but yeah, he's otherwise like looking at 4 Panther Force, and that is a significant armored force here. In this regard, he has been fairly successful in denying Acehiro some fuel, allowing him to actually gain the fuel lead, then just get up more tanks. So That is certainly something, but the question is, can Mirassol then leverage this numerical tank advantage? Because it's one thing to have it, it's another thing to then actually utilize it properly. Panther, they're gaining 82 shots and added. You can use guardsmen in the center. For the photo coming up here. Field gun fire at the 2-2, almost staying out. Quite again in between Mirassol and Acehiro. Of course, Mirassol is just waiting to get his armor repaired, doing some like prodding there. That's about it. Acehiro, of course, is also just slowly prodding his opponent as he's rebuilding his forces. T-35 lands good and the Panther 4 here. Much lower pace right now between Mirassol and Acehiro. First Panther is shown. 7th Panther going to be a company holding on. Is the white. T-35 moving up there, halfway to the ace level. Straight to another Panther 4. Good shot. Heavy fire there from the T-35. Guardsman then being pushed back. Up north here, Panther 4's pretty much fixed up. Still needs to fix with the other. And needs to, like, you know, somehow get it all going at the same time. It's going to be a bit tougher because Mirassol doesn't have a mortar. He could go for one, though. I think he's still got the population from that to deploy some smoke, which could help make it a bit harder here for Acehiro to, like, form up in a coherent defense. That said, it's easy to bring up another field gun. This is good, obviously, powerful. Gonna make things tougher for Mirassol, but he's also starting to like suddenly commit his tanks in the north here with nothing else going on. You can see that Acehiro starting to dig in. Again. Oh dear, it looks like Mirassol is starting to feel the pressure, like he's aware he needs to do something, but it's causing him to sort of slightly waffle about. He's just, you know, trying to make the right decision, but he can't quite seem to figure it out because he's still trying to repair some tanks after they took a bunch of damage, so it's not quite going smoothly here for Mirassol. His Panther 4 being hammered the field, about the T filming up could cost him the Panther 4. In fact, yup, Panther 4 down. Just as he gains 82 there, quite the blow to Mirassol. Great kill for Acehiro, removes a potential troublemaker Panther there. And how will Mirassol respond to this? Another Panther 4? Come on, tank, Stug. I mean, all three are possible there. I suppose also going for T4, or even going for Pumas. Lining up slowly in the south, it would appear now. Got the veteran Panther 4 there almost fixed up. More healing enforcement. Panther 4 bombarded by the field gun. Guardsman taking nice hit from the Panther 4. North hit T-35, they're being fixed up. Gunny's moving to the north here, straight into the pack in the south. At the same time, there's a bit of risk here that it, like, you know, he gives away. He's lining up for southern push here, but waiting around for too long. At which point, Acehiro's just going to bring up both his field guns and start mining up. They're up north. We do have the other Panther working a bit. We do get a bit more of an attempt here as well, so perhaps that's the diversion here. I don't know. Almost got a T-35, but that Panther 4 veteran is taking a lot of damage. He's blitzing in now. Then I think he's realizing that's going to not work out. Going to have to blitz up. Pop smoke. Good. The south, you've got the Count being hammered with the Panther 4s. Being ripped apart there. Almost going to get wiped out, in fact. Sends his ones more with the Red Army here under Acehiro's command. Fearlessly sending in his conscripts. Well aware that some of them may die, he is willing to make that sacrifice. Truly, Acehiro is one of the great Soviet commanders. A hero of the Soviet people. It's another Panther 4 down here. It's down to use 2 Panther 4s, and that was the veteran Panther 4. They lost again, the one with the Schutzen, so Mirassol there definitely struggling a bit with this kind of engagement, I think, at this point. Partly it is the map here. Partly it is as the match goes on, the Soviets typically tend to become, you know, more potent with all the field guns and the T-35s. They can absorb quite a bit of damage while also dishing it out. Set again, Mirassol is not making it easier by, like, you know, just not quite setting off some proper assaults and just sort of rushing in his tanks one-on-one here, which makes it much easier for Acehiro to just steal one of the tanks individually. So he's gone for like 4 Panther 4s to 2 Panther 4s. That's a bit painful. Fresh Panther 4 there up north. T-7 going for the gun DC. 10 kills ace level. 1 T-35 there is near the ace level. The other one is actually 2. That's definitely bad news for Mirassol. Takes a lot of damage in. Heavy mortar there with 7 kills. Veterancy 2. Even the Southern Assault he keeps up here for Acehiro. Guardsmen backed up at the T-35. They are slowly pushing back here. Mirassol Southern front line, which is just not ready for it. The Pack 40 crew there gets exterminated. T-35 going for the Panther 4, laying a nice hit there. Guardsmen taking further few hits from the Panther 4. Up north, a small counterattack is launched by the Panther 4 to try and extricate the Grenadiers. Maybe take out the T-70. And decides just to not commit any further there. In the center, the Panther 4's pushed back. Again, Mirassol's actions are getting less coherent. It's sort of smaller actions here and there, but nothing major versus Acehiro, who's just slowly advancing the front line and then just, you know, digging in again and again. Bit of a leapfrog approach, if you will, here from Acehiro. So Mirassol needs to do something here to turn the tide. Needs to do something. And I think he needs to like either consider an attack up north here for this side and then just charging in there, or for the south. He could try and go for like, you know, again, like, you know, double-pronged assault there, pincer, but he's so far not shown himself as being a particularly great at managing that, so I wouldn't recommend that again. I think he's going to have to, like, just, you know, launch a swift but focused assault just for one part here. Just not straight up the center of the map here. That's it. It's not going to be easy for Mirassol. He's lacking mortars, and he's only got grenadiers with, like, machine guns. He lacks any panzer grenadiers, I think, or some other assault troops for a, you know, faster and more successful assault here versus his opponent. Mines here, clearly Mirassol is hoping that Acehiro will charge into him, at which point he can cease initiative back. Could be a good indicator here that Mirassol might already be in a slightly awkward spot there. Or at least be misinterpreting the situation, because Acehiro's not going to really like have any incentive to like charge through there. For example, like if he's holding the victory points across his axis, he can easily just ignore Mirassol in a sense there. So I don't know. Also need to move those pioneers before the termite gets off under them. Close call there for Mirassol's pioneers. They're close being hoisted by their own petard there. Tier 4 as well for Mirassol. Perhaps he's got plans, perhaps he's abandoned them. It's hard to say here. Instead we got the 4th Panther 4 again. Once more Mirassol is building up his Panzerwaffe here versus Acehiro. Fighting again. 4th Panther 4 almost done. Tanks also split up quite a bit there. Bit risky as well, though it does help that Acehiro is not concentrating tanks anywhere else. We've got 1 Panther 4 in the south now, 1 in the center, 1 sort of northwards. All sandwich being ducked, but Acehiro got the infantry moved in here. Slow probing attack here with the mix of grenadiers, pioneers, and the machine gun here. Panther 4 slow supporting as well. Heavy mortar makes this kind of approach a bit tough, since like any slow infantry moves is going to become an easy target for the heavy mortar. In the south here, Panther 4 remaining silent there. In the center, we've got the assault following up here as well now. North, the attack is also very slowly underway here. Axis sort of blasting at one of the T-35s. Could try for target weak point here. In the south, Panther 4 catching the counter. They'll be caught by the field gun in return here. Other Panther 4 through the center. We got the 4th one ready. Standing at the ready, doing nothing in the south. Comes push back Panther 4, the damage engine, but it's also Veterancy 2. There's his 3rd. Veterancy 2, Panther 4. We'll have to see if that one lives longer than the other 2. The first one actually getting knocked out right as it hit Veterancy 2. Bring more armor southwards over into the T-35, which is very close to the Acehiro here for Acehiro in the Red Army. Panther 4 is being hauled back in the south further. Panther 4 hauling back here for Mirassol and the German army. Up north, Grenadiers, pioneers getting ready. Troops basically repairing the Panther 4s. You sort of feel like could try and probe a bit more north. These points just barely ever guarded here by Mirassol, so that could be something easily grabbed there. Without much contest, or even like force them to maybe commit one of the Panther Force while not fully repaired and then get knocked out. So I'd certainly say there's some various reasons to go up for that. In the center, guards were dug in, they're behind heavy cover, Glennie's charging at them. And the T-35, the assaults are unsurprisingly going to be not pretty here for Mirassol and the 1st Panzerdivision. Not looking particularly active again here. Those sides lining up for their next attack. I imagine he's trying to figure out the next moves. T-35's then repaired. Almost got most of the Panther Force fixed up here. Gonna be just one, which is almost halfway to 82 here for Mirassol. It's the 1st Panzerdivision. Fresh sandbags. More sandbags. Lots of sandbags. Again, he's just taking the opportunity to dig in and send us all some of the surge state. In fact, they were quite commonly noted in German memoirs and such that these soldiers were very quick at digging in there once they'd see some ground and making any German counterattack much tougher. So, in this regard, Acehiro certainly following the historical principle there. Almost got all the Panther Force fixed up, but where will he attack and which level of effectiveness will he attack? We got the armor coming up. They're going to be spotting ahead. They're managing for the main thrust. So does look that's going to be a southern push here. Could work out. We got mines from the northern approach. Finding some mines to make Acehiro. Thumbs up. We got even more mines there. Very good. Slowly moving into position here, but again, he needs to be careful. He doesn't like, move too slowly. That risks his opponent catching on, and that way he's setting up to defend against such a push here. Lots of mines up north. So again, we can see the inactivity of Mirassol is like lining up there. Has some, downsides to it. As again, it gives Acehiro ample time to just fortify and mine. And that means any future assault is going to be much tougher here. Plus, I think the fact he's only showing activity in the south is going to give away to Acehiro the most likely the attack's going to come from. We do get a heavy Panzer Corps now. And again, he's just mining off the entire northern approach here. More Panther Force in the south here. Fieldman's been moved southwards. Yeah, I think he's sort of getting a good read here in Mirassol. Very good read. Heavy Panzer Corps there, slowly getting fixed up. Engineers, well, just still laying down mines. He's even going for some more in-depth minefields, like even to say they breach through the first line there without getting stuck up. They're going to maybe charge into the second line here, so smart thinking there by Acehiro. We even got mines in the south now. Pac Ming moved up. Mirassol is definitely, though, giving Acehiro way too much time with this. Much too much time. Definitely not a great move. They got Rifle Engineers here, and the mine behind them, setting that off. Pack 40 up here. Panther Force waiting apparently for the right time to strike. Film's holding up. No, Barley, he needs to be a bit careful because this is a bit of a choke point here, so he could make the mistake of just charging in blindly there. Of course, also, yeah, getting caught up here a bit there. Smoke deployed. Need to blitz in there. Panther 4 about to get knocked out. Needs to keep moving here. Struggling here to maintain all the Panther Force moving. Also, the infantry got forced back here already. So, the entire assault is kind of going sideways here for Mirassol. The infantry wasn't quite coordinated with the tanks. Or vice versa. But again, he was taking so much time that Acehiro was able to just bring in his stuff there on time to completely thwart the assaults. There you go. One Panther Force down. One almost knocked out. Pack got wiped out here. Just not a good assault here by Mirassol. Acehiro absolutely just crushing it here. Like an insect beneath his mighty sword boots. Another Panther Force down, leaving Mirassol just with 2 Panther Forces. An absolutely crushing blow here to Mirassol. And a really strong punishment of him just, again, just durdling about too much instead of just, getting in there. Well, obviously it goes for next, but by now, Acehiro really seems to be holding most of the cards. He's got easily the larger force. He's got 2 Ace T-35s, which are definitely superior here to Mirassol's non-veteran Panther Force machine crew is about to get utterly demolished here by the 2 T-35s, down to just 1 guy there. Plus, we've got here by the T-35 Aces, these heroes of the Soviet Union, Order of Lenin. Looking pretty bad here for Mirassol. And while Acehiro suffers some losses, he can just use his placement. He's got a massive resource reserve here. Gonna be wiped out. Situation further collapsing here for Mirassol. Any first punch to be shown here? Further and rapidly deteriorating here. Enforcing healing. Panzerwehr for Mirassol and the German army. Panzerwehr I also feel like is not going to really help with the key issue, which is the T-35 Sun versus the field guns. If you can hit them, it can help out. Or the infantry, but it's not really going to fix the issue, which is the two T-35 aces. I mean, the Panther 4s are not going to help much of a match against those, and the Panther Sun is not going to assist in this particular problem. There you go, 2 bouncers as well. That's pretty lucky there for Acehiro, significantly less lucky for Mirassol. Panzerwehr for almost done. Panther 4 being fixed up here. Mirassol frantically repairing his tanks, urging his pioneers to somehow weld faster, even if that is not possible. Now the T-34, this time just the 760 for Acehiro and the Red Army. You got 107 versus 178. Got a Stug 3G here. I think he might have been dreaming up Panthers, but probably realized that the Panther in this situation is just absolutely not going to cut it. And honestly, should have gone for Stug sooner, but that's another story. He's switching towards the north, but can Acehiro or Mirassol do this faster and thus ensure that Acehiro doesn't have too much time to dig in? You also need, of course, bring in the pioneers because there has been a lot of mines laid down here. Stug almost done. Acehiro rushing his tanks here towards the north. He's had to go for another T-35 instead of the 76. Makes sense. Mortar firing down there. Pioneers here getting mines set off under the feet. T-35s bring up the T-70 Ultimate Reserve here. Panther 4s blasting away there, but the armored car gets knocked out. Great kill here for Acehiro on Mirassol. More casualties here on Mirassol, down just 1 pioneer, 1 gun to the escort, backed up an MU-42, and then a bunch of armor, Stug, and a Panzerwerfer. The Panzerwerfer is firing off its volley here. Can it destroy maybe one of the field and crew? See, will it just be a complete waste of rockets? It's a complete waste of rocket. Panther 4 Stug goes the T-35 ace there, knocks out the Panzerwerfer, another glorious killer for Acehiro on the Red Army. Panther 4's going for it. T-35s, they're counter-attacking into Mirassol's assault. Mine goes off here. 1 Panther 4 down even just for the Stug and the Panther 4. And the T-35s fall upon the Panther 4 like a pack of hungry, rapid wolves. Stug charging against that T-35 ace. Maybe can take it out here. As he gets very unlucky. He did take it out, but that Stug is gonna go down. And not in history. Pioneer's about to get wiped out with this. I think it's safe to say Mirassol has lost. It is a game over, GG. And he's left the game. We're just waiting for the game to realize that Mirassol has left. So there you go. Certainly, as always, a good lesson. Don't pull a Kursk. Don't allow your opponents, get too much time to dig in particular not the Soviets, as they are quite good at that. Another issue was also just the way Mirassol sort of just couldn't quite coordinate his forces. Also, feel like he could have done more with his commander. Again, he basically just used it for counter-attack tactics and panzer. There was, no command tank, which could have been helpful at times. Or a Puma, maybe, could also have been helpful here and there. So there's definitely some issues there, and I think further utilising his commander, which I think didn't help him. And also just the lateness in getting out Stugs. Another element would also have been some Pentagon. It's been great sort of helping clear out support weapons and infantry. So definitely a lot of room there for Mirassol to sort of help deal with this particular situation. But just one issue was just he got way too passive. And you really don't want to do that versus the Soviets. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment on it. Tell friends, tell family. But don't tell enemies. This is Imperial Link. Cheers. See you all tomorrow for a nice episode. Bye.